Hello and welcome to our training today. We're happy to have you here with us. I'd like to first introduce myself. I'm Bruce Eckman and I'm the founder of EasyNet Tools Incorporated. We've been providing web-based services since basically the inception of the internet many years ago. We developed some of the first online tools, cloud-based tools, and so we've worked over the years with thousands of different businesses online, helping them with their online businesses. And so our objective with the Launch to Success training series is to take what we've learned from those thousands of customers over the years and condense that down into information that can help you. What we want to do is, my dad always says that I have a master's degree or a doctor's degree in hard knocks, and so we want you to avoid that if possible by allowing you to learn from the successes and failures of others on the internet. And so I'm excited to share that information with you and to try to help you out in your internet venture. Today's training is entitled Podcasting and RSS Marketing. And really this is a really broad topic. And so today what we're going to be covering is just the basics of that, just kind of an introduction to it, and we'll give you some additional resources that you can go to learn more about it and to get into more detail about that as well. So, but excited to share that information with you. This is one of the things on the internet that you can do that's actually a lot of fun to do. I mean, there are a lot of things that are fun, but this one can be pretty fun. So let's go ahead and talk about that. First, let's talk about just what is podcasting and what is an RSS feed. And sometimes it's a little hard to understand what those things are, and hopefully I can simplify it so you can kind of have a basic understanding of what those things are. Typically with podcasting or RSS feeds, you're looking at content. The first piece of it is some type of content or information. That can be text, it can be graphics, photographs or graphics, it can be audio, or it can be video. And so that's the primary part or the main ingredient for podcasting or an RSS feed is your content. Okay. Then what we have to do is we have to take that content and we put it somewhere on a hosting server so it's available to people on the internet. And just so you understand, I kind of want to explain the difference between downloading and streaming. Typically with most podcasting and RSS feeds, we're doing a download versus what we normally do with our website is streaming. So let's talk a little bit about that. Downloading is pretty straightforward. What happens is you have a file, let's say it's a video file, and you put it up on your website or on your hosting space, and then someone just downloads that, or it makes a copy off of your server and puts it onto their computer, their player, whatever it is that they're using to play that. So you're actually creating multiple copies of that same file, whether it be a text file, an audio file, or a video file. You're making multiple copies of that all over the internet. Now, streaming is a little bit different, and typically with streaming, we're doing streaming off of our website because we don't want to make multiple copies of that all over the internet in most cases. And so what we do is we have a player on the other end, on the person that's viewing, they have a player. And what happens is that as they tap in, it's just like the shower head here, that video is actually just streaming right over the internet. And so as those bits of data go over the internet, just as fast as they get there on the other end, your player is playing them. And so they're actually not stored on the hard disk on the other end, or they're not stored anywhere. They're played as fast as they get there. And so you've got to have the speed to be able to watch it at real time as it goes over the internet, but you only have the one main copy on your machine. And so that's the difference with streaming and between doing podcasting. Streaming is kind of, I mean, it's played as fast as it gets there, and when it's done, there's nothing left there. With downloading, you're making multiple copies of that information all over the internet and on other devices out there. And so before you get into podcasting, you really need to understand and not have a problem with having multiple versions or multiple copies of your information out there all over the world. And so just depending on what you want to have, but part of streaming or part of podcasting is typically downloading and allowing people to download that file and make copies of it. Okay, so now the real thing that sets RSS feeds and podcasting apart from everything else. I mean, lots of people have audio files and video files and text information and everything out there. But the thing that really makes a podcast, or an RSS feed is the ability for customers to subscribe to that information. And this is the thing that really makes it cool, because if you make an upgrade to your website, or you add some content to it, or you put a new video out there, people don't just automatically get it. And so what you want people to do is you want people to subscribe through an RSS feed or a podcast, and through that subscription, then every time you put a new piece of information up there, it goes out automatically to those people. So you can get instant distribution. You don't have to put it up there and wait. It's instant gratification. I think that's what everyone likes nowadays. And so you've just got to get people to follow you and to subscribe to your podcast or your RSS feed. Okay, let's talk just a little bit about how it works. It's really not that complicated, okay? You put your content up there on your hosting, your server. You just copy that information up there. And what happens is that as well as that information that's up there is a control file that allows these things to subscribe to it, and it says, hey, this is the content that's available. And then there are all kinds of devices and programs and things all over the internet that are players that can subscribe to this content. And what those players all do is they all keep checking that file to see if there's anything new. And so as soon as there's anything new, it instantly grabs it and downloads it to that device. Now, people can have RSS readers or podcasting players, these programs, on their computers, their desktop computers, and there are a number of different podcast readers and podcast players and RSS feed readers available for people to install on their computers, and then they can sign up to those off of your website. Okay. There's the ever huge growing number of cellular phones and cellular devices out there that you have a player on to subscribe to these things as well. There are some new devices coming out, which we'll talk about a little bit more at the end of the session, which are just dedicated players just for playing information off of the internet, which are really cool, and we'll talk about that. And then there's all the iPods and the MPEG-3 players out there. I think that's what really got this thing rolling, was the people with their players, their iPods that would download the data to their machines to get music and podcasts and things like that is what really got the whole thing rolling. But there are all kinds of different devices that have players that will download or stream, in some cases, the content that you've got up there. Okay. Now, let's talk about just a little bit of difference between an RSS feed and a podcast. Kind of out on the internet, this is the button or the icon that represents an RSS feed. And so, if you see that on the website, you know that by clicking on that, you're going to be able to sign up to their RSS feed. Okay, and so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But an RSS feed is typically on your own website, and you will place this button on your website. And as people visit your website, they can click on that button and they can sign up to your RSS feed. And what that is it's just the data, and it will download to their machine. As new data is there, they subscribe, and anytime you put something new and you add something new to that RSS feed, their machine will check and automatically download it. So you can automatically distribute information very, very easily once you have it set up. Now, typically in the past, RSS feeds have usually been text-based. information, like an article or something like that. If you think about news, that was where it really originated. You know, you could sign up to a news RSS feed, and every time some new news came out, bam, it was instantly on your computer. You had the latest news. Or the weather reports. Anytime there was the latest weather, would be automatically sent to your computer instantly without you having to do anything. So, but you could sign up to these kind of feeds. But you could also do that with information off of your website. Anything from the latest sales to some information that people wanted to subscribe to about that. RSS feeds are changing, but I think that probably out there in the world, still the bulk of RSS feeds are text-based and maybe some graphics included with it, but on a limited basis as far as the graphic things are concerned. I think that's where it's really been strong. And typically, you're going to sign up for those on your website. If I want to sign up to a news RSS feed, I'm going to go to the news website, and I'm going to click on it, and I can sign up to it. So that's typically what an RSS feed is.